Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
I'm Tom Smith. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at U.S. Strategic Minerals Exploration based in Denver, Colorado. And my guest this morning is Susan Morrice, originally from Northern Ireland. She's been involved in the oil and gas space for about 40 years, as I have. Um, I'll let her say a few words and we'll get down to a little discussion we have about some revolutionary oil and gas and mineral exploration ideas.
Thanks, Tom. You know what's fascinated me about meeting your group is I think some of the best inventions are things that are so obvious. We go, oh, I wonder why that, wasn't invented before or hasn't happened before. And I love it that your group has, in a way, got to grips with Mother Nature's bounty, which is oil and gas, and you and I have been in the oil and gas for a long time, but what else comes up that oil and gas hole? And that's where I'm fascinated with what you and your team have done with the brine waters and taking it into commercialization. I'd love to hear more.
Yes, I guess Susan and I met earlier this spring in 2020, and right away I was really enamored with Susan's spunk and aggressiveness and just success in life. And as if you don't know about Susan, she is credited for finding oil with others in Belize, which, as most of us know, we like to go to Belize to scuba dive, go to the Blue Hole and sit on the beach. But she saw a need in Belize for indigenous power and in a way to employ some of the natives back from the coast, right? Interior of Belize in kind of a limestone area.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're doing at U.S. Strategic is we're what we call a hybrid. We take a hybrid approach to exploring for minerals, whether they be oil, gas, or in our case specifically brine. And contained in brines are high concentrations of valuable and critical and strategic minerals that can be extracted using processes that in some cases actually can consume CO2 from the atmosphere. And that's really, I think, what sets us apart is in this carbon capture movement that's getting a lot of attention worldwide is that we can actually take CO2 from the atmosphere and take minerals that exist in common oil field and mine waste brines and combine them through a process, a chemical process, well understood one, and actually make a saleable product. So we're commercializing CO2 capture. And if any of you have looked at our website, that's really our hallmark. That's at the title. We're commercializing CO2 capture, and we want to be available to large CO2 emitters to help them achieve similar goals. So on a worldwide scale, we can make a difference.
Tom, I love that. And I think that's what really intrigued me with all the aspects of your group, which was instead of paying to take what is a brine water away, and actually that limits the size of the oil field, you're thinking outside the barrel to think what revenue streams, whether they be the CO2 capture, the limestone, the magnesium, the cobalt, the lithium, what other goodies are in that brine water that can be commercialized and actually bring a life and other revenue streams to the industry, which is looking to for a new way to really reinvent itself. And I see you all as that bridge. So I'd love to hear more.
Yes, and as most of our audience was probably knowledgeable enough to know that over the past, I'd say 20 years, in oil and gas, we've migrated from, I call it elephant hunting, looking for new reserves with conventional methods. And maybe secondary and tertiary recovery processes. That's what drove everything back in the 80s and 90s, and that it kind of got us out of the bind we were in with the Arab oil embargo. And then we started evolving into resource plays. And the technology that's evolved in the past 20 years has pretty much put a lot of us out of a job in a lot of ways. And that's our goal, though, and that's what excites us, and that's what's made my career a dream. Very met so many wonderful, smart people. We all had this goal to become energy independent, and we've achieved that. But what's next? We're not ready to throw in the towel by any means. And we look at the mining industry, and they've pretty much stayed, I think, in my mind, they've kind of lived the way they always have, is let's dig a hole in the ground. Let's find a high-grade deposit of whatever mineral you're after, and let's get the permits, scale it up. Whatever country it happens to be in, we'll employ locals, sometimes not under the best conditions. So there's some room for technological advancements. The other thing is, let's keep this thing domestic. Oil and gas has come from a foreign dependence to a U.S. supply chain. We have our own supply now, and that has helped us wonderfully. Gas and oil prices are down. Unfortunately, we've kind of worked ourselves out of a job, as I said before. But in mining, I think there's a way to utilize the same mentality and utilize the technology advancements that are available now for geothermal energy, high temperature, deep. We can apply that to locating brines. Even the brines that come up to the surface with geothermal exploration can be identified as having large amounts of critical minerals inside that brine, in a stable solution. Our goal is to try to get them out and actually commercialize the value of those.
Tom, this approach is so compelling that I don't think it can be limited to a country. I think when the mind's open to see what are we actually getting from our oil wells, there may no longer be a dry hole in any country, because indeed a dry hole is actually quite often a wet hole to us. In other words, it's water. So what is coming with that water? Is it a geothermal, let's just say differential, and or other minerals, including magnesium, calcium, etc. So I think your open-minded approach would be utilized, and should be utilized by people all over the world, because it's so obvious that this bridge is needed that I feel it should have been done yesterday. So I am really looking forward to you guys getting going on all fronts. Yes, I know some more academic research, very much from a government point of view, to encourage this in any country, and to really look at the wealth of what is coming up those holes that are already drilled, actually.
Correct. Susan, as we've talked before, the database that exists out there in the United States, especially, of all the waters that were produced from drilling, whether it be an exploratory hole that was eventually plugged as a dry hole because proper permits weren't there to produce it as a brine, or a geothermal well. We're all interested in water chemistry, and there's a huge database. And so the beauty of that is we just have to mine the data. We mine the data to find our exploration target. And we know how to reach that exploration target through our oil and gas technology advancements and our experience. So that's the easy part. The hard part here is actually the commercialization piece, because we can certainly demonstrate in a lab all day long that we can take CO2, combine it with a brine, and create alkaline earth carbonates, which can be used. They're essentially limestone and dolomite, which can be used for road base, aggregate, and cement in various other construction projects. But the question is, can we do that profitably? And can we do that even break even is the big question. And that's really what our money raised right now in our company is to look for grant money that's available. A bunch of legislation was just signed for carbon capture and sequestration technology, research money, and get involved with some of these local universities in Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, that have great lab facilities and great instructors up there with kids that are willing to learn. We can all go down this road together with the ultimate goal of commercializing carbon capture. And that's a good thing for this planet we live on. And I guess I'll end here shortly, but we are presenting at Intercom February 10th and 11th in conjunction with Colorado School of Mines. So any of you out there that are interested in learning more about what we're doing and maybe getting on board with us, we welcome that. And more to come.
Thanks very much, Tom. I loved your phrase. I would say it's mining the creative concepts within yourselves and mining the data, the wealth of data, to be a major bridge between the mining industry and the oil and gas, and bringing a whole new life and a respect to the environment with it. I love it. And I'll be on and very interested by the School of Mines. Is it a conference?
Yes, it's a conference put on by Intercom. A lot of attendees. It's basically you sign up. It's meant to bring investment money to startup companies that are in looking for that on a large forum. And we're pretty excited about it. It's getting some good interest. It's going to be like a new NAPE. Instead of the NAPE in Houston for oil and gas prospects, this could be the start of a new NAPE in Denver.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. And I've really enjoyed this exchange.
I did as well, Susan.
Thanks.
Take care.